Okay, I couldn't unmute myself. Oh my goodness. Hello. Yes, the tech, the tech, the tech. Hi, everyone. I am Carrie from Disruptive Nutrition, and there are so many new people in our group. So I want to welcome you all today. It is Monday, the day I like to do my shout outs and announcements, and we are live with Disruptive Nutrition. So I am super excited to be here today. So I just want to kind of go over what this is like. I'm going to chat a little bit about what we talked about last week and where you can find it. And then I'm going to get into my lesson for today. So as people are getting on, I know, oh my goodness, that was kind of long, but I would love to know more about each of you. So whether you're watching this on a replay or if you were watching this live, tell me where you're tuning in from. I am tuning in from Connecticut. That is where I live. I want to know if anybody's near me, on the same time zone as me. I was in New York this weekend visiting family and almost stayed an extra night and would have done my live from there. But at the last minute, my husband and I decided to come home. You know, we're working from home, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But we left my kids there. So I was like, so we have no kids this week. Oh my gosh, give me some likes or hearts if you think that's cool. It is kind of nice. We have 2 teenage girls, and while I love my teenage girls, Karen, you're from California here, we're having a little break, and I think they're having a little break from us. You guys know, we've been like 4 months of just togetherness. So I'm excited. I will tell you, I just finished doing my makeup, and I just did powder really quick, but my teenager taught me how to use a highlighter stick the other day. And in our membership group, we have guest coaches that come on, and they teach us different things about health and wellness. And a couple of months ago, it was April, actually, we had a guest coach who was a parenting expert. And it was really great because if you know me at all, you know that the whole reason I even got my health in order about 7 years ago now was because of my girls. Because I grew up with a really poor self-image of myself. And how we think about things, what we think about, how we talk, even if we don't realize it, it's making a significant impact on our children. And so having that guest speaker back in April was amazing. So one of the things that she did, she taught us, she kind of did a 30 days or 21 days, 3 weeks of building a better relationship with your teen or tween. And so one of the things was to have your child teach you something. Have your tweenager teach you something. So I had her teach me how to use a highlighter stick because she's really into makeup and I am not very good at that. So anyway, it was kind of a cool moment. And so I texted her and told her I'm using the highlighter. I don't even think you can see it because I'm pretty sure I'm not doing it well. But go ahead and see if your kids can teach you something this week. It was a very cool activity that now I'm trying to do on a regular basis. Okay, so last week, I can see Michelle. Coach Michelle is on. That's awesome. I'm on 2 screens, and I have my notes on one screen, and I have you guys on another, and I am going to try to be able to see all of it in one place. It's not simple. It takes like a team, and I feel like I am just by myself, and I wish I had more people with me right now because it's a little tricky. All right, so last week and all of this month, we are talking about how we have been taught so wrong when it comes to our nutrition, and it couldn't be more true. And it's just, sometimes I take for granted now because I remember being in a place where so many of you might be now, where everything was so confusing. Everything was all over the place. I was counting calories. I was going low carb, low fat, kid of the 80s, low fat, right? And we still do low fat, even though we don't realize that. I'm going to talk about that today. And yet, nothing worked. Everything, I felt cranky. I had terrible cravings. I was absolutely a horrendous role model to my kids. And where do you go? Where do you turn? Because everywhere you look, they're telling you that you have to do this thing or that thing. And none of it is really based in kind of reasonableness, I would say. When people hear about our approach, when we do our seminars, and we're doing one this week, so it started today, but you have time to catch up. So if you want to catch up, you can. I will put a link in here after. But what we talk about makes sense. And it's like deep down inside, we know that's what our bodies need, but we just keep hearing these other things that make us feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. And yet we need to be fueling our body with food, not depriving it. Yet all of the things that we hear to do ends up being deprivation. Now, I get healthy versus not healthy can feel like you're depriving yourself if you think you can't have pizza because it's not healthy. Well, that's where we are like, I think, just the bomb, because we talk about eating healthy and how important that is. Absolutely. That's eating clean, unprocessed foods as much as possible. But there's also something called correct, right? And that is when you are PFC balanced. And when you are eating PFC every 3, you're actually eating correct, even if you're not eating healthy. And the first time I heard about this, I was told, what do you think is more correct, eating an apple or eating pizza with chicken? And me, in my low fat, low carb, counting calories, starving myself mode, I'm like, well, I want to say an apple, but clearly you're asking that question for a reason, right? A pizza with chicken is actually more correct. It may not be healthy, but it's actually more correct because it has protein, fat, and carb. And so some people think they have to deprive themselves when they're eating healthy. Well, we eat healthy, and you can ask any of our coaches, 80% of the time, but we eat correct 95% of the time, and then we eat one meal a week where there are literally no rules. None. And I eat a couple meals a week like that because my metabolism is so dang fast, I can if I want to. Hi, Michelle Kramer and Melissa. It's good to see you guys on here. So the things that we've been taught. Last week, I talked about the fact that if we put ourselves at a deficit, we think we're doing right. So how many of you have ever starved yourself to save calories for a big meal at night? Or have fasted and felt like you can't eat after 6 o'clock at night, and then you can't eat before noon because your body's doing some sort of voodoo magic inside. And if you give it food, it will like screw it up. So not true. And so I talked last week about, when is a deficit a good thing? When? I mean, let's talk about where we are right now. Financially, a deficit is terrible. And our bodies, it's the same thing. Our body is a refuel as you go machine. When you put your body at a deficit and you continue to do that, not only do you break trust with your body, but also your body is going to try to fuel itself. It's going to try to get those nutrients somehow. And it does it in where you actually have the most nutrients. It will pull from your muscles and it will slow down your metabolism so you cannot burn food as fast for energy because it doesn't trust that you're going to give it the food when it needs it. It makes sense, doesn't it? But we blindly follow things that these experts say, or we see friends that lost 50 pounds doing keto and we're like, oh, we got to do that too. You lost 50 pounds doing keto because you put yourself at a deficit. Now, keto's a little different because then you train your body to use fat for energy instead of carbs, which would be fine if you could do it for the rest of your life. And it's not even fine. It was actually originally developed for people with epilepsy, not as a diet. But yeah, I suppose you could do that. You are still leaving out a huge macronutrient, but you will feel like garbage after a while. And you can't ever have a quesadilla. And if you know me, I like quesadillas. And I like birthday cake. And I like wine. And those things are off the table. So that sucks. Excuse my language. It does. So today we're going to talk about calories. Because here's the thing. I know because it wasn't until I got certified as a nutrition coach, not even as a health coach, it was a nutrition coach, which is kind of the next level up, where I really started to understand where calories came from. Do you even know what's a calorie? Where does calories come from? Why do we count them? How are they measured? How do we know that a food has 550 grams of calories? I mean, it's kind of like we accept the word calories, but I think a lot of people don't know what it means. Just like gluten. A lot of people will say they're gluten-free, and then you ask them what gluten is, and I don't think a lot of people don't know. So, I'm drinking out of my Squad cup. Isn't that fun? I got this at Home Goods. So if anybody sees them, tell me, because I'm trying to buy as many as I can. Okay, so let's talk about calories, because that is something that I feel like I actually have never taught on calories before, really, the way I'm going to teach this week. Later tonight, you're going to see a post from me with a really great YouTube video and explaining the science behind calories and how it all came to be. Super interesting, really interesting, but so much of a silly science in a lot of ways, okay? So let's talk about calories. Give us energy. Calories are in food, okay? And it's energy that's measured. And so when you watch that video tonight around 6 o'clock, I'm going to put a post up about that. You'll understand that a little bit more. But when you understand how it's measured, how they figure out how many calories are in food, you think, how does that actually matter for me? Okay? And I also, so calories, counting calories don't actually make a lot of sense. And I hate it. I mean, I hated counting calories. It was the perfectionist in me needed to get it all right. But then it was like when I was going out to dinner, how do I know how many calories are in things? I had to look up everything because it was so hard. And let's be honest, I had to think about my day. And I'm like, I didn't know what I was going to necessarily do that evening if I wasn't planned out. And so like you save your calories for later. Points are the same kind of way if you do points. And I'm going to just look down because I took a lot of notes because this is actually a really technical concept that I'm going to try to make really simple, okay? So I know I have so many clients that have been counting calories to a T and then not making progress, or make progress at first and then gain all the weight back. That's because you're putting your body at a deficit. Calories in versus calories out is a completely antiquated practice, and we need to stop doing it. And my goal here is to teach you why we need to stop doing this, okay? So, well, I'll do this in a second. So calories in versus calories out is fundamentally flawed, and we're going to talk about why. One reason is because, and I've talked about this before, all calories are not equal. I mean, like, yeah, calories are treated, like when we count calories, we treat all food as being equal. So I went and grabbed my daughter's goldfish. You may be surprised that I have goldfish in my house. I do. I hate them, but there's only so much arguing you're going to do with a teenager. We ration them. And here's the thing. This can be correct. It might not be healthy, but we can make it correct. So my kids know this is a carb and a fat, and it's a little low in fat, in fact, so that they know they have to add some to it, right? Okay, but I'm not looking at the nutrition label for carbs and fat. I'm only looking at calories. There's 130 calories in this. So just saying that makes my head hurt. Because now I have to do math. If I'm going to be on a, God forbid, 800 calorie diet, this is a very big amount of all that I can eat. Isn't that crazy? And it's goldfish. There's no nutrients in this. Do you know how many calories are in an apple, say? 95 calories. And that's just a carb. So you would need to have protein and fat on top of that. So you could eat this of 130 calories or an apple, which is about 100 calories. Please tell me you know that those two things are going to do very different things in your body, right? Do you know that an avocado, a whole avocado, is about 340 calories? And those of you that count calories are probably like, oh my gosh. Fat holds more calories than other types of food. But we need fat to lose fat, believe it or not. Our body needs fat on a regular basis so it can slow down digestion, absorb nutrients, and burn fat. We burn fat when we give our bodies good fat. A serving of an avocado would be about the same as this. That's not even close to the same thing. Or how about this? You guys, a Diet Coke has the same amount of calories as water. We gotta stop thinking that calories in versus calories out are going to do what we want it to do. Because by treating all calories as equal, we are assuming our body is going to do and use those calories in the same way. Our bodies will not use and benefit from Diet Coke like it will water. And we are fooling ourselves if we think We can't have an avocado, but we can have Goldfish Oreos because they're lower in calories. Our bodies know what it needs. And we know what it needs, but we have these practices that sound like they are right, but when we really dig into it, it doesn't make sense, okay? So how about this? When we think about a Diet Coke, let's dig into that a little bit more. Artificial sweeteners cause weight gain for a couple of reasons. It's going to hinder your metabolism because your body doesn't recognize what it is. So it's not using it actually for the energy that you think it is. So it's like, it's just this negated piece, especially even when you're having other calories, right? Diet Coke has 0 calories. But when your body doesn't recognize some of the food that's in a lot of those crappy things, it doesn't know how to use it. So it's just going to hold on to it, okay? So artificial sweeteners are like that. So it might say 0. Your Truly seltzers might say 0, but don't let it fool you what's inside of it, okay? The other thing is that when the more toxins we put in our body will protect itself from toxins by producing fat cells. So that's another reason we want to try to eat as healthy as we can. Of course, there's a balance, but when we're eating correct and we're having proteins, fats, and carbs, we're actually giving our body the nutrients it needs, that it knows how to metabolize, that it uses for energy, and that it boosts your metabolism. When you are keeping your blood sugar balanced by using a protein, fat, and carb at every meal, we're not talking about calories at every meal, you are going to do something very different for your body. So another example, 250 calories of Oreo cookies is not the same as 250 calories of, say, turkey, almonds, and an apple. It's just not. And your body is going to react very differently to the Oreo cookie. It's going to spike your blood sugar. It's going to pull the nutrients it needs because it didn't get it from the Oreo cookies from your muscles. It's going to store fat and slow down your metabolism. But when you feed it that same number of calories and say a turkey, almond, and apple, a PFC, you are going to keep your blood sugar balanced. Your body's getting exactly what it needs. It boosts your energy. It slows down digestion. It absorbs the nutrients, and it builds lean muscle mass. That together balances your hormones. So that brings me another piece about counting calories. When you are just counting calories, you are not taking into account at all the quality of the food or the types of nutrients it is, which is really what we should be doing. We don't count calories at Disruptive Nutrition. And so when you are only taking into account that calorie number, your hormones get all out of whack because you're not giving it what your hormones need to balance. When your hormones are out of whack, do you know what happens? Not only do you not have energy, not only do you slow down your metabolism, not only do you store fat, but anybody else know what happens? I'm going to put some comments down. Your blood sugar gets all out of whack, and you will gain weight. You will gain weight, and you will crave all sorts of foods. So when people come into our Diet Disruptor squad, I hear all the time, cravings. I crave sugar. I crave chocolate. I crave all these things. That's because your hormones aren't balanced, you guys. People talk to me about thyroid issues. Thyroid issues can absolutely be legitimate issues, but if you are not eating, so your blood sugar is balanced, so you're eating the right nutrients instead of calories, you don't actually know if it's a thyroid issue for sure. For example, one of my family members, her doctor said, I'm pretty sure that you have an underactive thyroid and that we're going to have to give you thyroid medicine and all of that. Well, she did a 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch. The first month, she actually didn't move. She has a very slow metabolism, of which the doctor thought for sure was a thyroid issue. She is now 4 months into this lifestyle. Not only has she lost 18 pounds, but there's no thyroid issue, you guys. And I'm not saying it cured the thyroid issue. I'm saying it wasn't a thyroid issue. But until we get our nutrition completely on track correctly, you're never going to know. So if you're just eating healthy and you're not taking into consideration the types of foods you're eating at the same time, or if you're just simply looking at calories, or if you're looking at calories and not taking into consideration these other pieces, you're doing it wrong. And that's why you're not making progress. So let me keep going. Calories are not going to give your body what it needs to be able to run efficiently, right? So these macronutrients, like I talk about, a macronutrient are proteins, fats, and carbs, okay? Everything is a protein, fat, or carb. Proteins need to be complete proteins, though. And yes, you will see lots of proteins in vegetables. You should always eat vegetables, tons and tons of nutrients in vegetables, not typically complete proteins. So if you ever look up vegetables, you're going to see proteins, but they're not the proteins that you need to be able to do what we're talking about. Typically, complete-based proteins are animal-based proteins. There are some vegetarian-based proteins. I have a blog all about that, okay? Everything is a protein, fat, and or carb. But here's the thing. If you're counting calories, I guarantee, this is like where I was a kid of the 80s, low fat, the low fat craze. If you are counting calories, you are actually sucked into the low fat craze and you don't even know it. I think a lot of people know that low fat isn't great. Like, we need fat. I shouldn't say that. More and more talk has been about that. And now the pendulum has swung to no carbs. So people do proteins and fats and low carbs, right? Because everyone realizes the sugar cause. Like, people learn this much information and then they kind of make big assumptions, make a big diet program on it, and then you jump on board, right? So when you're counting calories, you're actually on the low fat craze and you don't even know it. Because like I said, fat holds more calories than other food. So if you're counting calories, you're not getting enough fat in. You're not. So you have to stop doing it because it's not going to get you. Fat has 9 calories per gram, where protein and carbohydrates have 4 calories. So if you're talking about counting calories, you can eat a lot more protein and carbs than you can fat. And so as long as you get your calories in, boom, right? No, that is totally, totally untrue. Okay? So let's see. I'm just going to look through my notes here if there's anything else I really want to kind of chat about. I can't wait for you to watch this video. Let me tell you though, I did miss this piece. Fat. Let's talk a little bit more. I told you that you need fat to burn fat, right? It supports a healthy metabolism. But here's the big thing about that. When you have good fats, it buffers the effect of sugar on our bloodstream. So, we talk about blood sugar stabilization. Carbs will raise your blood sugar. An apple is a carb. So I don't care if you're eating an apple or cookies, it's going to raise your blood sugar. Protein kind of counteracts that, okay, and helps you build lean muscle mass. And so some people think, well, then I don't need the fat. No, you need the fat because not only does it help you digest and absorb all those nutrients in there, but it buffers the effect of the sugar from the carbs. Okay, so you need all of those pieces. So I need you all to stop counting calories. I need you all to be thinking about how you fuel your body with food. And I need you to be thinking about how when we put ourselves at a deficit, we actually do ourselves a disservice. It's such a shame, and I don't want us to keep doing it anymore. So I think about all of you, as especially the new people that came on board. If you haven't signed up for our seminar yet, like I said, we're only one day in. It's easy to catch up. I would love for you to join us because we dig into a whole bunch of stuff that we teach our clients. But here's the thing that I really want to share with you guys. So we were back and forth and we weren't totally sure if we were going to do another 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch in the summer, but we are. A lot of people were asking about it, and I know a lot of people are like, okay, it's time. The quarantine has kicked a lot of butts. Am I right? Right. So it is time to be able to learn how to get rid of all of that nonsense information that we have been sucked into. And if anybody even asks what a calorie is, I bet you have a hard time defining it. Yet we count them like it's like, the Holy Grail. We've got to figure out a better way. And so we are going to run our 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch on July 6th. That means July 6th is prep week. And then we're going to dig into 4 weeks of eating clean and just serving our bodies together as a group with your own personal coach. And you get access to our private membership group, which rocks. And if you sign up now, anytime now, as soon as you sign up, we will give you immediate access to our private membership group. And let me tell you, I live there, my coaches live there, and we have a community of people who live this lifestyle really, really long, really well, that answer questions. We have people that go to restaurants and take a picture of the menu and they're like, what should I order? And then we jump in because we know exactly how to live this lifestyle. So 4w2w.com, we open the doors today, but if you sign up by the end of June 30th, then there are a bunch of summer bonuses. We want people in there early. We want you to grab as many of the monthly recipes as you can before they go away, because we only leave them up for a little while. We want you to be able to take advantage of, there's so much in the vault, in the membership group, that when people start, they don't actually have time to dig into the vault. So you can actually dig into the vault of past coaching calls, past guest coaches, past information, and just start to like dig around in there. It's information you can't find anywhere else. So 4 weeks to wellness. There's so much information on the website. Go to 4w2w.com. I would love to have you join us right now. You still can have your pick of a coach, which our coaches are incredible and really have gone through this just like you are in it now. They have been where you are. They know how you're feeling, and they have come through the other side. To live a life without dieting, without counting calories, without depriving yourself, without feeling like you're at a deficit, without cravings is wild, y'all. It's so freeing. So I hope that you'll think about that. And if not, y'all know we have a place for you right here in this free group, and we will continue to serve you and love on you. And I can't wait to be able to come back next week, because next week's going to be different. So next week, we're not going to do one live show. I'm doing 4 shows. If you guys remember, last month, I'm going to show you this real quick. Hang on, I'm going to get up. Last month, I worked with the Mark McDonald. Mark McDonald is the guru of PFC Every 3. 20 years ago is where he realized this concept and how it would translate. He is a celebrity coach to all sorts of famous people. Chelsea Handler wrote his foreword. He works with her all the time. And I have kind of the, incredible luck, joy, blessing of him being my mentor and him being my partner as well. So we partner on a few different projects together, and he wanted to do a free training with all of you. So we have recorded trainings for you. So instead of going live next week, you are going to get a new training from Mark McDonald and myself every day next week, Monday through Thursday. I will also send it to you in your email. So we're going to change it up a little bit next week, and then I'll come back live again the following week, and we're going to start a new theme of the month. But I think you're really going to enjoy the time with Mark. He loves all of you. He is in this group, so he is watching all the time, and he's just really excited to be able to kind of pour into you. And the discussion, the conversation, the training we did was a lot of fun. So I hope that you will tune in next week so you can see all about how myself and Mark McDonald wanted to serve you guys and help you out. So that is it. I hope you'll join our 4 weeks to wellness, and I will put a link for the seminar in case anybody is interested in joining. After today, I'm not going to let people join because I don't want you to be feeling like you're behind. So today will be it. All right, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye.